Now, I know you're probably sick to death of the Brittany Higgins, Bruce Lehrmann thing, so I want to give you a fast update on what you need to know as simply and clearly as I can out of what happened this week. So this week, on Wednesday, we had the hearing on who should pay whose multi-million-dollar legal fees. Now, the legal fees amount to a whopping $10 million. All the players had to make their submissions to the judge, and he'll be making a decision soon on all of that. Now, amid that hearing, the big news came that Bruce Lehrmann is considering appealing that civil court finding that on the balance of probabilities, it was more likely he raped Brittany Higgins than that he didn't. The Australian newspaper broke the news this week that Lehrmann is seeking help from international and local donors to help him mount that appeal. So we will see how all of that plays out over time. But as one legal commentator called Law Girl put it on X this week, having gone back into the lion's den to get his hat, Lehrmann maybe has now decided to go back and kick the lion in the testicle. We will see. It is a ballsy move if he does, because there was no finding actually in the criminal case against him, so it is still technically possible, that the ACT's new Director of Public Prosecutions could charge him again and run another criminal trial. The double jeopardy thing doesn't apply if there wasn't a verdict in the first trial, although that does seem highly unlikely given the shambolic state of the ACT's criminal justice system at the moment. Anyway, back to the civil costs hearing that happened this week in the defamation case. Channel 10 copped a shellacking from the judge again. The federal court judge in the case, Michael Lee, said that Channel 10 got a little bit too celebratory after its little win in April, and he said that that is going to be weighing on his decision about how much of their own legal bills the network will be made to pay and how much Lehrmann will be required to foot the bill for. It also came out that Brittany Higgins' lawyer sent Channel 10's lawyers an email threatening that she would refuse to be a witness for the network if they offered any deal to pay any kind of damages to Bruce Lehrmann in pre-negotiations or pre-settlement discussions. So if Channel 10 offered Bruce any money to settle out of court, Brittany would have walked. Now that's important because when judges consider who should pay the costs in a civil case, they look at everything that was done before the trial to try and sort it out before it got to court. So the more you acted in good faith to try to work things out before it gets to court, then the better it is. In his big ruling last month, Justice Lee found that Channel 10 had acted unreasonably in how it treated Lehrmann in the handling of that project interview with Lisa Wilkinson. This week, Channel 10 tried to argue that Lehrmann should have to pay more of the costs because he knew that the whole case was doomed to fail and he shouldn't have brought it in the first place. Well, okay, I think he was trying to clear his name after his criminal trial was aborted. But anyway, Channel 10 revealed that it had offered Lehrmann a walkaway deal where it offered to drop the case. If he dropped the case, then they wouldn't pay him anything, but they would also not seek to get costs paid by him. So it was a walkaway deal. You drop this thing, Bruce, and we're not going to give you anything, but we won't be chasing you for costs. Lehrmann said no thanks to that in under 2 hours, which I think speaks to his genuineness in wanting to clear his name. The judge said that it seems like Channel 10 made the offer in those terms so as not to lose Higgins as a witness, right? There was no offer to Bruce of any payment of damages. But 10's lawyers actually rejected that proposition from the judge. The judge was also not happy about a speech that Channel 10's lawyer Justin Quill made outside court back in April after the verdict was handed down. Quill said in a 10-minute media doorstop that the result was a resounding win for Channel 10. And he did a lot of media appearances after that on networks, including his own.
It's really clear that Bruce Lehrmann is the big loser out of today's judgment. But it's also clear that no one else emerged unscathed. Brittany Higgins didn't. We mentioned the unreliable witness on certain aspects finding before. Channel 10 didn't. The project didn't. Everyone involved has lost something as a result of this. What do you think we should take from this whole experience?
Well, I hate to say it, but it is often true that the only winners when anyone goes to court are the lawyers, and that is often the case. Look, ultimately, though, I just don't think it's right to say that 10 isn't and the project isn't a big win. I know I'm appearing on the project, so it seems like I'm just saying it for this reason, but I'm not. 10 had a big win today. It is really, really difficult to prove the truth of these sort of allegations. And it is a significant win to have done so. And hopefully it's a warning to other plaintiffs who want to come to court and con the court. So, yeah, look, there are rarely complete winners in legal cases, but Ten's as big a winner tonight as you could hope for.
That was a good question from Waleed Ali there. I'm no fan of that show, as you know, but credit where credit's due. But the judge didn't like the answer from the lawyer, Mr. Quill. Now, I'm a bit of a free speech absolutist, so I defend anyone's right to an opinion and to express it, even though I strongly disagree with a lot of what Quill said there. But with a cost decision still pending, a little more reservation may have been in order, perhaps. Quill also disputed the finding of Justice Lee in relation to Lisa Wilkinson's ill-timed Logies speech. Do you remember that great moment in Australia's legal and journalistic history? The ill-timed, vomit-inducing feminist rant was so inappropriate, it famously caused a delay in the Lehrmann criminal trial. In April, when he handed down his ruling, Justice Lee had said that Channel 10's lawyer's instruction to Lisa Wilkinson that she could go ahead and deliver that speech was grossly improper and unjustifiable, and it could have imperiled Mr. Lehrmann's right to a fair trial. Yeah, no kidding. The trial had to be delayed to give people time to forget the speech. It was outrageous that lawyers could have given that advice. But Channel 10 were doubling down on that. Quill criticised that comment from the judge in his media appearances after last month's verdict, and on Wednesday the judge got his chance to strike back, saying the comments were misleading and that Quill has done a discourtesy by commenting without having first read the whole judgment. Meanwhile, a referee has been appointed to help Channel 10 and Lisa Wilkinson decide how much of Wilkinson's legal costs will be picked up by Channel 10. She broke away from the network and hired her own lawyers. It all ended on Wednesday with Justice Lee reserving judgment for a later date. So now you're all up to date on that, and we'll let you know what happens next. Did you like that content? Well, there's a lot more where that came from. It comes from a show called The Other Side, which we drop a new episode of every Friday night at 8 p.m. to get you across all the news of the week for the weekend. Get you smart for the weekend without the woke. So join us on adh.tv or right here on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Watch full episodes here.